first of all, yes, I am wearing a very formal dress. This is my graduation dress. It just came in the mail today, and I'm trying it on. And I'm like the only person home, so I'm trapped in my dress. Anyway, I decided that I would review fan fiction. I don't know, I just saw a whole bunch of videos online about people reviewing books and fan fiction and stuff. So, I'm going to film this in segments. I have cheese and crackers and Diet Coke. So, the fan fiction I'm going to be reviewing today, actually, first off, let's start with a little bit of a backstory. So, I recently just re-downloaded Wattpad to my phone and logged back into my old account that I primarily used back in middle school. And, yeah, fix the camera angle here. Hey, editing idea here. I realized I forgot to put in an intro. So here's my intro. My name is Adia, and I'm just a weird teenager who decided to make this video. This is probably like my third attempt at making YouTube videos. I recorded one back at the beginning of the school year, but I never uploaded it. So we'll see if I upload this one. It's kind of like a gambling game, I guess. One thing though is this video is kind of long. By long, I mean like an hour and 20 minutes. I tried to shorten it as much as I could, but you know, when it comes to stories and stuff, you kind of have to explain everything, so everything gets said. Does that make sense? But anyway, I hope you enjoy the video, and yeah, I'll see you at the end of the video, because I forgot to film an outro as well. So I recently re-downloaded Wattpad back to my phone, logged into my account that I primarily used back in middle school, and with that, I was like, I want to find the crappiest fan fiction I can possibly find. So I first came across a Baldy X-Reader fanfic, which was a journey. I didn't even read the whole thing yet. But then I was like, nah. I want to find something else, like something that would blow your mind, right? So I came across, get this, Hermione Granger and Snape fanfiction. Hermione Granger and Snape? Are you kidding me? I did the math. Alan Rickman and Emma Watson have a 44-year age gap, right? Now, in the Harry Potter universe, I think it's only like 20 years or something, which is a little less creepy, but still creepy. Then, I did some further digging, right? So I was looking up Harry Potter fan fiction, right? And then I'm realizing that most of these are like Hermione Granger and Snape. And then I realized they're all by the same author. So I go to this girl's profile. She's 78 years old and has a successful career in singing. And in North Carolina, I think, she has it all in her description. And she's like, okay, let me just load it up. I'm going to load it up. Alexandra Pearl Reed. And this is her profile bio. Hi, I am Alexandria. I am a 68-year-old singer and songwriter living in Dunn, North Carolina. Alexandra Beckett is my alter ego, and I love writing about her. I have an unhealthy obsession for Severus Snape. Who does not? I viewed Severus as just damn sexy. I love to write Snamione fanfics in addition to my Between Lines series, and of course, there's Bob. Thanks for reading, Alexandra. Now, she says she's a little bit obsessed, right? She has 89 published stories, and from what I know of, over 40 of them is Snamione fanfic. I made a reading list, right? It's called Snape Granger Fanfic, Strangely All by the Same Lady. It's got 42 stories in it. 42. So, I have made it my life mission to read every single one of these. Every single one, okay? And per video, I'm going to do 10 to save you the hassle of having to watch many videos. I'm just going to smush it all together. Voiceover idea here. So, I only did 2 stories in this rather than the 10 that I said I was going to do, because after filming, it came up to a whopping hour and a half of footage that I have to edit. And so I decided I was just going to leave it at 2 stories. So there you go. I'm also going to film in segments and stuff. So this is the first segment because I've only read 2 of the 10 that I plan on reading. Because I needed a mental break. From this. So, the first one I'm going to go over is Kindred. All of these have the tag mature, by the way. Yeah. Oh, and these amazing covers. I can't get over them. Okay, so Kindred. The description for this is: Severus returns to Hogwarts to teach. After a long break from the wizarding world, he discovers Hermione as a young professor, not the girl he once knew. So, in this universe, well, in this version of Harry Potter, Snape didn't die by fucking breaking our hearts. Whoa. Snape didn't die, and Hermione became a professor. Alright. So we start off with, Hermione is what type of professor is she? Oh, and another thing in this story, Hermione and Minerva are, best friends, okay? They, get along really well, and Minerva's, I don't know, she's all get it, Hermione, okay. So it starts off with Hermione, being a professor at Hogwarts, and then Minerva's we need to bring Snape back here because, Horace, the potions teacher, is retiring again for the second time. But this time it's final. It made sure to tell you that. So Horace is definitely not going to come back to teach anymore. We need Snape, man. We need our man who's supposed to be dead, but he's not dead, which I guess is convenient for the story. It works. Cause but the thing is, the trio explicitly witnessed Snape getting killed. So just for most of these, it's after the whole war thing, and Snape's supposed to be dead and stuff. It's just okay. But anyway, so Horace is retiring. Hermione is in Snape's chambers, as this is put. And when Minerva writes Snape to come back to Hogwarts, Snape's all the only exception I got is I want to be back in my chambers, okay? Nothing else, just that. My chambers, my house, my rules, my place, my home, I don't know what I'm ranting about, but you know. And so, Minerva's well, Hermione isn't gonna like this, but if it gets Snape back, okay. So they make arrangements. And Hermione, when she finds out, is yes, Snape. I love Snape. He's my favorite teacher. Yeah. And then she makes the suggestion of, them, so apparently in these chambers, it's a mini apartment or something. Is that what chambers are in, the teacher chambers in Harry Potter? Are they just, apartments for teachers at Hogwarts? Not just, a room or something for the teacher? I mean, I guess it's a giant castle, so whatever. I'll take it. So there's 2 rooms, right? And Hermione's like, why don't I just take the guest room? And Snape's reluctant at first, but then he's like, I guess. So this is the second chapter. After Snape writes back that yes, I'll go back to Hogwarts. So, and then, you know, whatever. Like, I'm bad at explaining things, but I'm trying to hit all the bases. So, Minerva took a deep breath. Hermione, I'm going to move you to chambers across the hall from your current one. Hermione blanched. What? It's just, okay. Hermione, dear, I am sorry. Professor Snape is coming back. And Minerva started. Minerva had her at Professor Snape. He's coming back to teach? She tried not to seem too enthusiastic. Minerva smirked. Well, yes, he is. And, you see, he wants his old chambers back. I'm afraid he said he will not negotiate on that topic. He refuses to teach without that one condition. So, you see, with Horace retiring, we need Severus back. Hermione wanted him back here, but for different reasons. She wondered if we could reach an agreement. Hermione offered, the chambers contain 2 bedrooms. Can we both stay there? Minerva giggled. So apparently Minerva giggled. Hermione, Severus has never been a social person. I am not sure either of you would survive living in close proximity to one another, and that is if he agrees. I don't think he will. Sorry. Alright. So that's the whole, like, Hermione's like, let's share. And then there's, like, this whole thing, like, the thoughts are italicized between them. And, Snape's thoughts are in bold and Hermione's are just italicized. Okay, this is one of her thoughts. I wonder if he's as sexy as he used to be. How has he aged? Hermione going, just stop. He was your teacher, her logical side argued. But he isn't anymore, the more sinful side of her thoughts argued. Okay. Okay. When I read stuff like this, I try to picture that it's not the characters that are in the story, because I'm just like, whoo. It's a lot. It's heavy. It's heavy. Alright. So Severus is introduced into the story by the train because Hermione's supposed to be picking him up from the train station, you know. And, when Snape sees her, he's like, Merlin, I know it has been a while, but she is breathtakingly beautiful. And then he's like, Merlin, she grew up and filled out rather nicely. Severus, stop it right now. So they, like, do this thing where they tell themselves to stop thinking about each other. But they do it constantly. It's not like a one-time thing, which is typically how a normal person thinks. Like, sometimes when they're thinking about something they don't want to think about, and they're like, well, there, hold up. But, like, this is very often in the story. Alright, so now she suggests, let's share the place, okay? And then he's like, Miss Granger, he started, but pausing, seeing Hermione pout. I am not a pleasant man to live with, nor am I social in any way. I do not need, nor do I ever want a roommate. So if you would be so kind as to vacate my chambers, I would appreciate it. That is, unless you are re-engaging on, re-engaging on our agreement, Minerva. I don't know what that word is. It might be a real word, and I'm just shit at reading. I don't know. So this is in Minerva's office. Okay. And then Minerva's like, oh, Severus, it may have escaped your notice, but she isn't a child. Furthermore, your behavior today demonstrates without a doubt she had beat you in maturity. Severus rolled his eyes. Minerva, please. And apparently Severus rolls his eyes. I don't know about you, but Severus Snape isn't the kind that strikes me as rolling his eyes. He strikes me as the kind to do this. You know, like that kind of thing. I don't know. Whoa! Okay, so he just tells Hermione that they can't share the place, right? And then immediately afterward, down in the dungeons, when he's about to tell her that I don't want you to stay here or whatever. No, he's about to. Okay, so down in the dungeons, he's about to ask Hermione why she even stayed in his old chambers in the first place. And he goes down there, and then immediately afterwards, of being like, ew, gross, don't want to live with you, he's like, I would like to bend her over my desk. What the hell is wrong with me? Yeah, what the hell is wrong with you? You just told her you don't want to be in the same place as her, and now you're just like, what the fuck? Like, okay. Anyway. Severus cleared his throat, shaking off his earlier thoughts. Hermione. She turned to face him. Yes, sir. I'm moving my things as fast as I can. Severus sighed. Here, Hermione, please come with me. Stop what you are doing. Just leave that for a minute. He held out a hand for her, which she took without hesitation. She felt herself become aroused by his touch. She never wanted him to let go of her hand. He pulled her up, then brushed her tears away. She had hoped for a minute he would kiss her, but that's not going to happen, she pouted. Hermione pouts a lot in this, which is weird, I think. Severus decided to be civil because fear works best on students, and this lovely young witch was definitely not a student anymore. Hermione, what is it that you find so appealing about these chambers, my dear? Severus purred. Severus purred. Okay. Anyway, she realized they were sitting down, and he was holding her hand as she was so mesmerized by the tall, dark wizard. She did not notice he took her to the sofa to sit down to talk. All she could think was, he used my name. He was holding my hand. He called me his dear. She said, sir, you wouldn't understand. Severus grinned. I just found a typo. It's great. Severus grinned. Severus, my dear, we are working together. She smiled at him. How did I not see these when I was reading this? I must have read too fast, but like... So Severus called Hermione Severus. I know that's a typo, but still. And then she says she smiled at him twice. It's like... And then she said, my reasons are personal. And then Severus says, Hermione, what if we came to an agreement of sorts? I will allow you to stay in these chambers with me and use the spare bedroom if you tell me why it is so important for you to do so. And then Hermione's reason is, the first reason, the second reason she's not going to confess until like later, but the first reason is, these chambers are the most soundproof in the castle. It's not for the reasons that you think, okay? Even though Severus, like, that's the first thing that pops in his head, and he says, so how many wizards have you had in my bed? And Hermione blinked, her mouth hung wide open. What? Is he jealous, she asked herself. No, of course not. She managed to whisper, none. And before she could stop herself, the only person I had sex with in your bed is myself. Severus is like, in his head, I would love to see that. Better yet, if I had my way, she'd never have to do that again. She could if she wanted to, but not have to. He hated himself for lusting after a witch who probably loathed him like every other witch he met. Severus smirked. Then why is it so important that you say that this chamber is the most soundproof? And her reason is that she has like night terrors from the war, and Severus has the same thing, and that's why he was in the chambers in the first place. Hermione does think to herself what the second reason is, but she doesn't say it to him. The second reason is because it smells like him. But as the author so delicately put it, because it smells like him. Yeah. So in this next chapter. Okay. So Severus has a night terror, wakes Hermione up. She goes in to soothe him. But apparently she's wearing sheer pajamas or whatever and no bra. And Severus can't help but think about that. Just, like, this, okay. And also, like, before he even, like, wakes up, because he won't wake up, right? He just, like, puts his head on Hermione's lap and just starts, I don't know, and then apparently she's aroused and he's aroused, and then after that encounter where they're just, like, staring at each other, like, so hot, you know, they go their separate ways and go back to bed. And the next day in the teacher's lounge, they started becoming friends and, like, exchanging playful banter. And then, like, okay, one thing that is said in it is, like, they're saying phrases to each other, like things that teachers used to say about jokingly about the other professors. And then this lovely phrase is said. Hermione sneered. Oh, an expression that comes to mind is Severus Snape's long snake. Hermione paused, looking down at the table. Did you come up with that one, Sybil? Sybil Trelawney, I never know how to pronounce her last name, had already snuck out of the lounge before Severus could turn around to confront her. Hermione smirked. And then there is, by the love of Severus Snape's sexy bum. Oh, and I love that one about, she turned to Minerva. It was the one about, that, blah, blah, blah. What was that one that Professor Sprout came up with? Hermione squealed. Oh, yes, when someone has come and gone as fast as Severus Snape. Severus changed from pale to red instantly. The expression was meant to imply Severus' past face of moving through the castle, but the way she said it insinuated that the gallant potions master shot too quick. Help. 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 I read through this whole thing. Okay. Can you see my face getting red? Because, like, another thing is they start smelling each other and then describing what each other smells like. So, Hermione smells like jasmine, honeysuckle, parchment, ink, and some old books. And Snape smells like parchment, old books, potion ingredients. Yeah. Oh, so after the whole, like, snapback exchange or whatever. Not snapback. What am I trying to say? There's a phrase I'm trying to say, but I don't know what the phrase is. Just the comments about each other exchange. Hermione runs away crying, and Snape goes to comfort her, and then hugs her and kisses her hair. And next, they start sleeping in the same bed together. But they're still at the friendship phase. Even though Snape thinks to himself, she is my witch, whether she knows it or not, I will keep her safe always. Okay. Oh, and here she tells Snape her reason why she wanted to stay in the chambers wanted to stay in his chambers. But she phrases it as, I chose your chambers and bedroom because I feel safe here. It reminds me of you. So apparently, while Hermione was a little girl in Hogwarts, right, even though Harry and Ron actively went after Snape for many things that happened at Hogwarts, apparently she had a secret teacher crush on him this whole time. And when she became a teacher at Hogwarts, she was like, yes, now I can find Snape. Okay. So after they start sleeping together, Snape has to start going on trips to get ingredients for potions or whatever. Just business trips. And while he's gone on one of his trips, this guy comes over to give him his inheritance. His parents, his parents have been dead for a while, but because he was in hiding, the guy that had to give him his inheritance couldn't find him. So now that he was teaching at Hogwarts again, he was able to find him. And so he comes in, and he starts flirting with Hermione. Nigel Weston comes in to give, he's a member of the Prince family estate, and he came to inform Severus he was the recipient of an inheritance. So at first, when Hermione's like, Snape's my boyfriend, he thinks that, Hermione's just a gold digger and trying to go after Snape's inheritance. And he was like, Snape didn't inherit much, and he didn't. But another thing that we would get to see is that this author keeps repeating the word dunderhead as an insult over and over and over again. Like, who is this dunderhead? Who is this dunderhead? Dunderhead, dunderhead, dunderhead. Like, okay, we get it. He's a dunderhead. So when Hermione's like, Nigel, my boyfriend Snape, Nigel's like, ha! Good one! Great joke! And Hermione's like, I'm not joking. And then he keeps advancing on her. And then she finally says, after getting mad, I forgot to say that Snape came back early from his trip, and he's, like, standing in the background, witnessing this exchange, and Hermione and Nigel are there. Nigel's getting a little too touchy-touchy. Hermione's like, I got a boyfriend, who's secretly standing over there, but she doesn't know it, he doesn't know it, Nigel doesn't know it, nobody knows it. So Snape's watching this whole exchange, and Nigel is still advancing on Hermione. Hermione gets mad, and she says, Severus Snape is more wizard than you will ever be. He is very handsome with his chiseled jaw, regal nose, and insanely gorgeous black eyes. Do not judge what you see, or rather what you cannot see because of his attire. I guarantee underneath those robes he wears a lean but hard body. With a long appendage he is quite skilled at using. He is extremely intelligent. That alone causes pools of wetness to fill my knickers. So if I ever hear you say one word against the love of my life, I will hex you into oblivion. Understand? Let that sink in. Hermione just said that he has a long appendage. Snape has a long appendage that he is very skilled at using, which fills her knickers with pools of wetness. Her knickers with pools of wetness. I'm still recovering, hold on. Oh god damn it. When I first read that, it took me by surprise. I think I was on a Skype call with my friend, and while I was reading that, and I read it to her, and I just kept repeating the phrase, causes pools of wetness to fill my knickers, over and over and over, because it's just like, I don't know, it's just weird phrasing. Like, some of the phrasing in the story was just like so weird. The long appendage that he is very skilled at using, like, just the phrasing. So Snape comes out of the shadows, and reveals that he came back from his trip early, while Hermione's standing there all smug from her speech, and Nigel's just like shocked AF, and Nigel sees Snape, and he's like, wait a minute, if you guys are a couple, prove it to me, kiss. And so Snape grabs Hermione, and they make out in front of Nigel, just like full make out, French kissing, the whole shebang right in front of Nigel. That's great. But then, Snape lets his own insecurities overtake him, and he assumes that the kiss meant nothing, just to prove to Nigel, well, just to make Nigel go away. And Hermione gets mad, and she runs back into their chambers. And Snape comes in, and he's like, I don't know what I did wrong, like, what? And Hermione is just like, you idiot, I love you. And Snape's like, who could love an idiot like me? And then they get together, I guess. And she also says that everything I said, I meant it 100%. I meant what I say, and I say what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%. I love that. I just scrolled down and read. Okay, and after they confess their love for each other, they immediately have coitus. Very graphic detail, might I add. And it's I think every single Snamione fanfiction, there's graphic coitus in these books. I'm gonna stop reading that now. I'm going to take my eyeballs, right? I'm going to take my eyeballs out of my eye sockets and just squish them. I never want to use my eyes again after reading that very graphic description of Hermione Granger and Severus Snape coitusing. I don't think that's a word, but I'm just going to say it like it is a word. So it's the next morning, Hermione and Snape do once again, and then they go downstairs, or upstairs, because they're in their dungeons, to deal with the inheritance stuff. The inheritance is a ring. It's a what is it? So the inheritance of the ring. Another thing that I forgot to mention is Minerva is a very big fan of Hermione and Snape getting together. And when they walk into her office, she gets that little bells going off in her head like, oh, they did the do, you know, and she's so happy about that. Here's my thing. If this were a real situation between Snape and Hermione, Minerva would not be down, nor would Dumbledore. They would be like, what is wrong with you two? Are you insane? Are you mental? And that's kind of my thought on this right now. So the inheritance is a ring. It's Prince family wedding band. And there's this blonde chick that comes in claiming to be Snape's girlfriend or whatever. And the only way to test it is for her to put on the ring. So she puts on the ring and it hurts her. And Hermione is, of course, sympathetic and, like, checks to make sure she's okay. And then once that blonde girl leaves, Hermione tries on the ring, and it glows, and there's a whole bunch of magic stuff going on, and all of a sudden, she's in a wedding dress, and Snape is all done up, and he has the missing ring, which is the, Prince family wedding band for the dude, you know? And apparently it's been missing since Snape's ancestors, like, okay, so Snape's ancestors, they were like super in love, they were soulmates, and they used these wedding rings. And when they got separated, one of the rings went missing, and the only ring that wasn't missing was the woman's ring. So Hermione puts on the ring. She gets a wedding dress. And Snape gets the missing ring, and suddenly they're married. No wedding ceremony or anything. Husband and wife, right then and there in Minerva's office. That's pretty much the story. The only other thing that happens is at the Shrieking Shack, one of Snape's ancestors are there. It's the ancestor that was in love with the other guy, Snape's ancestor. And they got separated. So, like, this is the female ghost, right, in the Shrieking Shack. And Hermione goes up there and she's like, how can I help you find the love of your life? And she's like, I don't know how you can help me. So after Snape and Hermione become husband and wife, miraculously, they suddenly have the power to help her find the missing ghost of her loved one. I think it's explained, maybe, I'm hoping. Oh, so, at the end of this, apparently Snape was attacked by Voldemort's snake, but he survived because of Lady Amelia Prince, which is Snape's ancestor. And so in this last chapter, well, second to last chapter, Hermione's explaining to him that Snape's ancestor, Lady Amelia Prince, is in the Shrieking Shack. And he's like, maybe that's how I survived the snake attack. So, throughout the entire story, Snape's somehow miraculously alive, and it's not really explained how he's alive until now. It's never brought up until now. I guess maybe the author became self-aware that she has to come up with some reason how Snape was alive. And so Snape and Hermione go to the Shrieking Shack to help Amelia. And they combine their magic to create a potion. Combining their magic using a potion and an incantation, they attempted to lift the curse that kept the ghost shackled to the shack. And she's freed. She can go find the love of her life. So, I was bad at explaining that, but the ghost was, like, trapped in the shack. It wasn't like she could leave and find the love of her life. And yeah. Oh my god, I totally forgot there was another, like, secondary plot. So, apparently, Harry and Ron, they come to visit at one point, and Ron is sick because he's, like, absolutely depressed and getting drunk all the time, an alcoholic, you know. And he, okay, one of the motifs that is in this author's writing is she portrays Ron as a complete asshole, which I don't know if I agree with, because Ron is always, like, that stupid, adorable, lovable best friend. He has his moments where he can be a bit of a brute, but he's just a bit of a brute. Like, he immediately realizes his mistake. Sometimes not immediately, but eventually. And it's all fine, right? He's never, like, abusive and says really mean stuff, right? But that's how this author portrays him as. And, when Ron found out that Hermione was married to Snape, she's just like... and, he gets transferred to a hospital, but then he dies at the hospital. And so in the second to last chapter, she sees Ron's ghost. And he explains, "Yes, it is, Hermione. I died this morning. Harry will be here soon to tell you of my death. I just wanted to say I'm sorry about how I treated you. I wasn't right in my mind but now death has restored my sanity. I want to help you to make it up to you and Severus." And so Ron helps them find Amelia's husband, and they do. Oh, and apparently Lavender Brown is haunting the Quidditch pitch, and Ron and Lavender Brown get together as ghosts. The last chapter is way in the future when Snape and Hermione have 2 daughters. And the daughter's just complaining about how Snape scares off all of her boyfriends. And guess what? Guess what the second oldest love interest is? Neville Longbottom. Neville is as old as Hermione. It's like dating a parent. Oh my god, these age gaps are killing me. It's just... I don't have a problem with age gap, but I kind of do. Only when it's like something I'm familiar with. Actually, screw it. I do have a problem with age gaps. I do have a problem with them. It's only like, if it's like 10 years, like my at most max is 10 years age difference. I'm fine with that. But once it hits 20, it's like, they're old enough to be your parent. It's not okay. It really isn't. So yeah, like... Anyway, that was Kindred. I'm going to cut this down sizably because I've been recording for an hour and I still have 9 more stories to go over. I don't even think I can put 10 stories into one video like I thought I could, because I'm just sitting here explaining everything. But yeah, the second story that we're going to cover is called Sex and Candy. Okay. Now it's time for Sex and Candy. Woo! So, this one is a doozy. As you can tell by the title, I'm just going to try and explain everything without having to read it, because I really don't want to have to read all of that again or go through it again. Honestly, it was Sex and Candy is an experience, and it's not the actual experience, it's just fan fiction. So it starts off with Dumbledore telling the trio, Ron, Hermione, and Harry, that they need to go undercover for the Order of Phoenix. Ron goes to a pastry shop, Harry goes to a bar, and Hermione goes to this place called the Disco Lemonade. The Disco Lemonade is a strip club for the Wizarding World, and the guy that runs it is a Dementor named Bob. Now, Bob is a very nice Dementor. He is actually best friends with Albus Dumbledore. So that's the reason why Hermione got assigned to the Disco Lemonade to go undercover. It's because Albus knew that Bob could protect Hermione. So Hermione becomes a stripper for the Disco Lemonade. So anyway, Severus Snape and Lucius Malfoy come to visit the Disco Lemonade quite often. They're regulars. And Hermione, who's undercover, takes on the persona of Jasmine. She has like a little bit of a glamour, but apparently not too much of a glamour. So like she's got the same face and everything. Just her hair is darker and some of her scars are covered up. And no one can recognize her. And okay. So Hermione as Jasmine serves Severus Snape and Lucius Malfoy their drinks for the night, and Snape and Malfoy become I don't know why I keep trying to say their full names, it's a mouthful. They become Jasmine's regulars. Snape almost instantly becomes intoxicated by Jasmine, and which influences him to regularly visit the Disco Lemonade with Lucius Malfoy, just so he can see Jasmine. Now, on the sidelines, as Snape is undercover for the Order of Phoenix as a Death Eater. That's why he's friends with Lucius Malfoy. I think that's kind of like, I don't recall Lucius Malfoy and Snape being friends in the actual Harry Potter franchise. Actually, I think they despise each other in the franchise, but in this, they're best friends. They're like buddies. Like, Lucius, like, comes to visit Snape's house randomly, like, on a whim, all the time. Just like a best friend that busts in your house and be like, "What's up, bitch? I'm here to eat all your snacks," you know? Now, even though the story is twice as long as Kindred, there's not as much explaining that needs to be done, because most of the story is just Hermione talking about her experience as a stripper for the Disco Lemonade, which ultimately, because she's almost naked most of the time. We have visuals in this story, by the way. There are visuals for what getup Hermione is in while she's a stripper at the Disco Lemonade. Anyway, so the Disco Lemonade actually turns out to be a front. They're helping the Order by being a secret hospital for wounded Order members. And, which is weird because none of the girls are skilled medically. They can't do potions or anything like that. And Hermione's the only one that can. So it's like, has Hermione been doing the work the whole time? Or, like, how have they even been a hospital if no one knows how to brew potions or do anything medical? Like, I don't understand that. So after a while of Snape and Lucius visiting the Disco Lemonade for many nights, Jasmine and Snape become a bit of a thing. They start dating and whatnot. But then, like, on the subplot, Ron gets fired for eating too many pastries at the bakery that he's working for. And after he gets fired, when all of the members come for a meeting, Hermione's there, Snape's there, everyone's there. Oh god, I remember this fight. This fight. Okay, so Ron, as I said earlier, the author that makes these fan fictions likes to portray Ron as a bit of an asshole, as I've read for these past two. I've only read two, so I don't know if it's for every single one, but from what I know, it's probably most of them that Ron is portrayed as an asshole. And in this particular fanfic, he's degrading to Hermione, calls her ugly, shit like that. And Hermione, with her newfound confidence for being a stripper for the Disco Lemonade, she's like, alright, is a body like this not enticing to any guy, wizard in this case? And she flashes everyone. She flashes Snape, Ron, and Harry. She's like, is this not appealing? I don't know if arguing that you're attractive requires you to show your boobs. I think it was because Ron was saying that she's flatter than a pancake or something. But still, in front of your old potions master and two of your best friends, who in this story are considered both to be like brothers to you, you show them your boobs. Okay. And I remember reading a comment in that part. The commenter was like, that is so out of character for Hermione. And the author replied with, Club changed her. That's it. That's all she said. Club changed her. I guess. I don't know. I feel like if I started working at a strip club, which I never would, by the way, I don't feel like I'd want to flash people if they started insulting my boobs. Just saying. So there's that argument, and then there's also a time when Ron's about to hit Hermione, like physically hit her and call her the B word. Albus Dumbledore decides to punish Ron by putting him undercover at a gay sex club called the Blue Dragon. And he has to be a submissive for members for Death Eaters and stuff like that. I knew Dumbledore was savage, but I didn't know he was a maniac. Oh. But apparently that helps Ron, because after going through a whole bunch of whatnot, if you remember the character I mentioned earlier, Bob the Dementor, he goes to visit this establishment called the Blue Dragon, and goes to Ron as a client. And they start a romantic relationship. Ron in the story, this Dementor is 300 years old. Ron and a 300-year-old Dementor start a romantic relationship. Not just any romantic relationship, a gay romantic relationship. Now, I love gay couples. They're great. But a Dementor? 300 years old? 300 years old. That's not even the most ridiculous part. It just gets more ridiculous from there. So one night while Ron's working, Draco Malfoy visits. And remember, Ron's undercover. So, like, the only person that knows that Ron is Ron is, while he's working, is Albus Dumbledore, the guy that runs the place, who, in a twist of events, even though his name's Ralph, it's actually Neville Longbottom, who is undercover as the owner of the Blue Dragon. And, apparently Dementors can see past glamours and disguises and stuff like that. So, Bob the Dementor is the only one that knows that Ron is Ron while he's working. So one night, Draco Malfoy comes to visit Ron, and he confesses to Ron. I don't remember what Ron's undercover name is. I don't even think he really had one. I think he was just called like I don't even want to say it. It's kind of crass. They're quite crass. This is a very crass book. Or not book. I don't know why I keep calling it a book. It's a story on Wattpad. It's a crass fan fiction. So Draco confesses to Ron that he's in love with Harry. Ron tells Draco to just be straightforward and honest and, you know, not hold back. Just get that boy. And I remember in that chapter after Draco confesses that he's in love with Harry, there's people in the comments that are like, yes, my ship is being acknowledged. But honestly, I kind of see the, what's the word I'm looking for? The appeal. I kind of see the appeal in the Draco and Harry ship. I get it. I don't ship it, but I get it. So one night while Jasmine, Hermione, is working in the Disco Lemonade, Sirius comes in with Remus. And it's funny how Remus and Sirius are portrayed in this fanfiction, because Remus seems to think that every pretty girl is stupid, and he like mansplains everything to Jasmine. I don't know why I keep doing this, but just mansplains everything to Jasmine, who is Hermione undercover, and Hermione always comes back with these really good comebacks, and Remus is always left embarrassed and walks off and has to collect himself because he's so embarrassed, right? He's like, I can't believe I just saw a pretty face and just assumed that she was stupid. And that's like every time he interacts with Jasmine. It's funny. And Sirius, at this night in the Disco Lemonade, he becomes drunk as a skunk while he's with Remus. And Remus is trying to get Sirius out of the establishment because he's being a little bit crazy. And then Sirius grabs Jasmine's boob. Which, in return, because this establishment has a no-touching rule, Bob gets mad, tells Albus, and Albus punishes Sirius. And we already know how Albus punishes members of the Order, as we have seen from Ron's side of the story. So, Sirius becomes a temporary member of the Blue Dragon staff. And he has to undergo training. But it's weird because Ron didn't have to go through training. Or it just wasn't described that Ron went through training. But anyway, Sirius's training is having it up the butt from a transgender woman. Yep. This transgender woman had a wiener and boobs. I think her name was Sapphire. I think that's her name. And what do you know? Sirius and Sapphire start a relationship. So now, we have established that Ron is now in a relationship with a 300-year-old Dementor named Bob, who also runs the Disco Lemonade. Sirius is in love with a transgender woman named Sapphire, who did training on him. Remus feels the need to mansplain things to a pretty face, and then immediately realizes that that was dumb and crass, and he gets incredibly embarrassed and walks off. Jasmine is Hermione undercover, and Severus falls in love with Jasmine, doesn't know it's Hermione until later on. The Disco Lemonade is a front for the Order for an undercover hospital. And none of the girls have any medical training, and Hermione's the only one that's smart. So, yeah. Another thing, Snape and Lucius are best friends, and one night while they're together with Jasmine as Hermione, they decide to help out with the hospital, and they have to get glamorous to become women. They have to disguise themselves as women. And there's pictures, by the way. there's pictures on what Severus Snape would look like if he were a woman and what Lucius Malfoy would look like if he were a woman. It's not really mentioned, but it's not really important. But another thing is because Lucius and Snape are best friends, Lucius pops into Snape's house whenever he wants, as I said before, but it's because he's annoyed with Bellatrix and Voldemort using his mansion as like their home. Apparently Bellatrix is running around the mansion naked, having coitus with Voldemort. And that's annoying to Lucius. And eventually, throughout the story, Narcissa is like, I don't like it either. I'm going to come with you, Lucius. And so Narcissa starts tagging along with Lucius whenever he goes out. So now the three of them start going to the Disco Lemonade together. And then, one night Voldemort pops in, and he's like, man, this place is nice. Let's have our meetings here from now on. So the Death Eaters start having meetings at the Disco Lemonade. Which is fine with Bob, because he's an undercover Death Eater. So like he's in the same situation that Snape is in. And also Lucius Malfoy decides to change sides. And that's why he helps with the hospital, because Lucius changed sides. So he's now in Order of the Phoenix, but also doing the same thing that Snape is doing. So there's three characters doing the same thing. Being undercover for the Order. And the story has relatively the same kind of plot as the actual Harry Potter story. It was all Voldemort really wants is to kill Harry. And the Order figure out they need to kill the Horcruxes. Or destroy all the Horcruxes, right? And they're like, whoa, Harry, you're a Horcrux. Yeah. There's absolutely no description for the fights and stuff. It's just, like, vaguely described. Like, so Harry gets killed by Voldemort, but then immediately resurrects himself with the love of his mother, or something like that. I think that's how it's explained. And Voldemort's dead. Just suddenly, Voldemort's dead. And Bellatrix is like so disheveled because the love of her life is dead. And she gets taken to Azkaban. I was about to say Alcatraz. It's different things, very different things. Azkaban. She gets taken to Azkaban. And that's pretty much it. And then towards the end, Draco and Harry get together because Draco finally confessed to Harry, and Harry's like, you know what? Darn it. Okay, Draco, let's get together. Let's smooch. And yeah, sex and candy. I think I pretty much covered all the bases. If I did not, I will go through some other time while editing and put it in. But yeah. You notice how I didn't explicitly say when Snape and Hermione had coitus? Because that's nasty. Honestly, that's nasty. Snape and Hermione, that's nasty. Also, apparently, this takes place while they're all adults. While Harry, Ron, and Hermione are adults. So instead of being like while they're in school, it's like a little bit after school. And that's it. I think this is going to be a long video with just these two stories, so I might just have to limit it to these two stories. But I've got to say, from all the fanfiction that I've read on Wattpad, this author's stories are probably the easiest to read. Because while there are times when her grammar is null, she does kind of keep the story flowing. It's easy to follow. There's no over descriptions of anything. If anything, there are times when stuff isn't described well enough. Like very climactic things such as Harry killing Voldemort, you know? That's like the only thing that's not described explicitly. It's towards the end of her stories where things are skimmed over and then it's the end, right? There's no like explanation or anything. But yeah. Her grammar is pretty well. I just don't like that she keeps repeating certain words over and over, or certain phrases over and over in the same chapter. It's very repetitive. It can be. But yeah, it's pretty easy to read. It's not written by a 13-year-old, which I have to say I appreciate that. I appreciate this woman's dexterity. 68 years old and writing Hermione Granger and Severus Snape fanfiction. I gotta say that's kind of admirable, you know? She's written over 40 works. It takes a lot of determination, a lot of devotion, you know? It's kind of admirable, you know? The fact that she, like, lived her whole life, and she's like, I'll just write Snamione fanfiction for the time being. And from what I can tell, these have been written since, like, God, 2014 or something? She's been writing them since 2014. And, yeah. So, if there's anything missing, if there's anything that needs to be said, editing Adia will do that. I'm gonna make editing Adia do that, because I don't feel like it. I've explained everything. I don't want to explain anything else. Oh, Lord. The one that really got me was Sex and Candy, because I don't know, maybe it's kind of cool that this author created a whole underground thing that would not be discussed in a children's book, which is what Harry Potter is, a children's book. If a child were to find out that Harry Potter's world has a strip club in it, they'd be like, or like a BDSM club, like the Blue Dragon, you know? It's interesting, like an adult version of the Harry Potter world. It's interesting. I guess this is a really interesting twist on Harry Potter. And the fact that there's a strip club called the Disco Lemonade, run by a Dementor named Bob. A Dementor named Bob. I gotta say, that's something I never would have thought of in a million years. A Dementor named Bob. Not just any kind of Dementor, a gay Dementor in love with Ronald Weasley. also another subplot that I forgot to mention between Albus Dumbledore and Grimmauld. I think that's how his name's pronounced. Apparently Albus and, I'm just gonna call him Grim. Albus and Grim fell in love, but then Grim betrayed Albus, and then was like, I never loved you, you know. Albus is brokenhearted, became partners with Minerva, but Minerva has to transform into a man in order for them to do anything, you know. And at the end of this story, it's revealed that Grim was a prisoner of Voldemort's, and he was tortured ruthlessly, and he realized his mistakes and was like, you know what, Albus, I do love you. And they also get together. There's a lot of people getting together in this story. I think it's because it's longer. There's a lot more to be said. There's so many couples that get together in this story. A lot of made-up characters that that get together with the actual Harry Potter characters. It's different. It's a different take. I gotta admit, I kind of like it, even though it made me laugh, it made me cry, and it made me cringe so hard I wanted to die. It's the poem for today, kids, and with that, peace out. If you made it all the way to the end of this video without dying from secondhand cringe on my part, then good for you. I'm glad you made it all the way to the end of the video, because this was an experience, quite honestly, and I can only imagine what it's like for you as a viewer. I wish you didn't read it like I did, so be thankful. Be very thankful. So, you know, if you liked the video, do what YouTubers say at the end of the video, or not. It doesn't matter. This is just for fun, honestly. This is fun. I like reading horrible fan fiction and then talking about it. And I just bought some books from the dollar store, and I'm gonna read them and review them. So that'll probably be my next video. But I have an excuse, school, so it might be a while. But I will try my best to be uploading another video within like a week or 2 weeks, something like that. I'll try. Alright. Hope you liked the video. I'm going to finish editing this and put in this outro. This wonderful outro. Alright. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. What is my life? I'm trapped in my graduation dress talking about Harry Potter fan fiction.